What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching. Alright, my friends, Tallah and the Generation of Danger. Again, I've heard nothing but good things about it here. This is a big album, dude. It's 13 songs. It's almost an hour long. And again, you know, a lot of the time, like when it comes to hour-long albums, it's like sometimes has a tendency to drag. But I've heard such good things about this album. So I'm super excited to dive right in. Again, I've only heard one song, which again is Telescope. So I'm excited to see where this album's going to go. It seems like it's going to be a journey of an album, and I'm super excited to dive in and see where this journey takes us here. So again, let's pop it off. Again, Tallah, the Generation of Danger, about 57 minutes long. Let's go ahead and pop it off here in 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
Dude, what the F? Whoa, man. That was something, dude. That was legitimately like just a roller coaster through and through. Like, you just didn't know what you're gonna get with this album, dude. Holy cow. Wow. I have like a pretty good amount of notes that I want to talk about here. Definitely positive, some, you know, personal things that I personally didn't like about it. But overall, man, this album was super hype and it's super good. So my first listen review is coming up next, so stick around for that. Dude, it's hard to put words to Tallah's album, The Generation of Danger, because it's super good, it's super chaotic, and it's like not, I mean, I didn't really know what I was getting into because I'm pretty new to these guys, and I found myself really enjoying this album, dude. This album is just crazy. I mean, they're coming in hot at the end of the year trying to take people's album of the year contender, man. I'm like, dude, this album was really, really sick. There are a lot of things I do want to talk about, so let's go and jump right into the pros that I personally found in the album. The biggest pro, I would say, number one, this album keeps you on your toes. This album is so unpredictable, and they are so, like, you just don't know what you're gonna get from each of these songs. Like, every song on this album, besides like the last two, are over 4 minutes long. And while there are some songs that do feel that they do feel the runtime, like, it's filled with so many unique things, whether it's coming from the vocalist, whether it's coming from the instruments or like the background stuff or whatever the case may be. There was always something going on. It's not your straightforward like breakdown, you know, those types of things. Like, there's so many cool like new metal influences, like with Slipknot, and they have a lot of like hardcore type breakdowns, but they also just incorporate really interesting sounds. Like on the last song, I mean, How Long is a perfect example of starting off kind of soft, getting a little bit heavier, and then kind of just ending with that soft, quiet moment. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get from this album. I think that's really cool that you can't really predict what the album's going to do. You can't be like, oh, okay, it's going to be a breakdown, because most of the time it may not be. So again, this album keeps you on your toes, dude. And again, for people looking for music, that when people always complain like about generic music, I think this album will do it for you. Like, it's unpredictable, and for people who are like, you know, music whizzes, you know, music wizards, I guess, you're gonna find a lot of joy in this album. Another thing I want to say is the vocalist is absolutely top tier. He can do everything: high screams, low screams, gutturals, singing, mid screams. He can do it all flawlessly. And it obviously, when you're in the studio, like, obviously you're gonna do like in certain parts, but it's like, it just felt like his vocals flowed so well within these songs. Like, it just fit perfectly. As crazy as these songs are, like, he's able to find his voice and what would fit here. He's probably like, okay, a cool rap part can go here, a cool guttural can go here. Like, I think he really just takes his time listening to the songs, and he can really do all these things. And I'm like, dude, this is like a Swiss Army knife of a vocalist, and I think I don't know his name. I think he does have a YouTube channel, but he did phenomenal. I mean, these are some of the best vocals I've heard all year, sincerely, like in an album. Like, he did that good of a job. Like, it's so crazy how he can control all that, dude. It's just absolutely insane. Another thing I really liked is like all the instruments, it seemed like they really had their time to shine. Now, generally I always say like the vocals like carry the songs, which is always a good thing, but sometimes there are parts of the songs like, dude, the guitar work, the drums, like the bass adding to it as well, it just sounded so full, and it felt like no one was like hogging the spot. Like everybody had their chance to shine, because there are a few songs where I prefer like the instruments over the vocals, or I prefer the vocals over the instruments. Like, it was just such a cool balance and dynamic what they brought to the table. So I felt like every instrument had their time to shine. And then also, this is just a really well balanced production. Like, everything sounded like, nothing sounded overly loud, nothing sounded like it was like trying to overshadow one another. Like, everything just felt perfectly balanced when it came to the instruments, the vocals. Like, it wasn't too loud or anything like that. Like, it just sounded really, really good. Like, just a well balanced album through and through. It sounded fantastic. This is a very solid album, but again, there are a few things that for me personally kind of weighed it down. Now, again, I'm not like a musical guy. Like, I know how to scream, and that's it. So when I always say stuff like these are my negatives, it's always just like a personal thing with me. So again, like, my opinion's probably gonna be different than your opinion personally, but I would say the songs are so crazy, like they're so insane, that I feel like they do have a tendency to kind of blend together. While they do jam so many things into each song to make it sound unique, I feel like each song, sometimes, like, there actually was a full album stream, and I'm really glad I went with like the separate, like doing it separately, because like I don't think I could tell what song would be which, and so I'm really glad that I made it separately here, because again, a lot of the songs do kind of blend together. Not that the same structures are the same, but again, it's just so crazy that a lot of the songs have a tendency to sound a little bit the same, if that makes any sort of sense. It is a little bit long. Again, this album's almost an hour long, and again, I mean, I started to feel it more near the end. A Thistle, of course, was one of my favorite songs of the album, so that definitely brought me back into it. But near the end, it was just kind of like, I felt like it was dragging a little bit. It's like, okay, I've already heard this over and over and over. Again, still super unique, but again, like, the songs are so well done. It just dragged a little bit for me, a little bit near the end. And then honestly, this may sound like a weird thing to say, but this album is exhausting. It's not so much a con, but it's like really, it can make you a little tired, you know, for me at least personally here. I know I'm filming this pretty early in the morning. I get up early every day, so the time doesn't usually affect me, but the album is so long, and it's a lot of it's just so crazy that this album can leave you feeling a little bit exhausted by the very end. Again, that may not be a problem to some people, but for me, it left me just a little bit like tired, I guess you could say. Not saying it's a bad album at all. The score for this album is going to be very high for me, but it did leave me a little bit exhausted kind of near the end. My top 3 favorite songs from this album here, I would say number 1 is Thistle. I know I'm kind of contradicting myself saying that the last album, part of the album, made me feel a little bit tired, but Thistle brought me back, man. That was such a sick song. I really like that one. So that's probably one of my favorites on the album for sure. And then I also say the Hard Reset, man. That one kind of just had, that's what I was talking about, like, you know, how you can't really predict what's going to happen. I was like, dude, there is so much going on in this song, like weird vocal sounds and weird, like everything. It's just going crazy. And that song told me we are in for a good ride. And then I would also say Stomping Grounds is my other favorite song here. I thought that song was super sick. It just had my head banging. It was heavy when it needed to be. It just had so many cool elements in that song. And again, those first 2 songs, I was like, dang, dude, this is like showing me like we are in for like a good time. And then Thistle definitely brought me back. I thought that was super sick. Again, I enjoy like every song on this album, even though the songs are like over 4 minutes long, the majority of them, I found joy in all the songs on this album, but those are the top 3 songs that stuck out to me on the Generation of Danger. Overall, man, this album is great. It's a little long, it's not perfect, it's a little bit bloated here and there, but it is absolutely terrific. This is what everyone's been telling me, the new metal revival that we've been waiting for, man. This album is so freaking good. There's so many songs that I'm going to add to my playlist once I'm done filming and recording this video that I just got to listen to on the way to my aunt's house and just jam all the way over there, dude. Tallah Thanksgiving, you know, because I'm filming this on Thanksgiving, so I'm just listening to some Tallah before I go eat some turkey. But man, like, a lot of the songs remind me of like Linkin Park and Slipknot a little bit here. It's a really fast-paced album, and these guys are just wickedly talented, incredibly underrated. And it's my fault because it's people like me who didn't really give this band much of a chance. Not that I thought they were bad by any means, but I was like, I need to give these guys more of a chance. And I'm so happy that I did, man. This album is super sick. Again, I am going to give it a really high score, and this album may end up in my top 10 albums. I'm going to start working on that here soon. I'm going to have to listen to it a few more times to see if it is going to make it, but this album is truly phenomenal. It really is, man. It's super sick. I'm giving Tallah, The Generation of Danger, a 9.5 out of 10. I think it's really, really good. Even if it's a little bit long and a little bit bloated, like, there's still so much joy for me listening to this album that I can get rid of the negative, and just, it's more positive than negative, way more positive than it is negative here. And honestly, man, I'm excited to see other people react to this album here. I have a couple of buddies who have reacted to it, and I seriously can't wait to like jam along with them here, because again, I want to see what they have to say as well. But again, yeah, this album is phenomenal. It's super sick.